So during the reign of Tutankhaten, he introduced reforms, and the first big reform was to reappoint Amun-Ra as the king of the gods and his deity temple at Karnak. That was really important to do. The judgment of Osiris and the Book of the Dead was reinstalled as the promise of eternal life to the Egyptian people. Okay, so we've covered the theology and the promise of afterlife. So let's look at the tomb of Tutankhamen and how it's organised. This is really important. So you have the corridor. Fine, it's a corridor. It's not decorated. You've got the steps, go down the corridor, and then you would have had a pair of wooden doors. Beyond that is the antechamber. Now these names were given to those rooms by Howard Carter. So you need to look at the objects in there. And there are 3 beds. One bed is Hathor Isis. It's got the cow's heads on the bed. Another bed is the hippopotamus. And another bed is lions. So what does that mean? Well, when you look at the vignettes, the pictures of the Book of the Dead, the deceased is always being led by a powerful deity. And Isis is the mother of Horus. So it's most probable that that bed represents the goddess Isis, and she is assisting Tutankhamun as he makes that journey through the underworld, that dangerous journey with all the gateways and monsters and snakes. In his tomb, he had hundreds of Ushabtis. Ushabtis are labourers of burden. Providing you had the right spells on them, in the underworld you could speak their name and they would come alive. He had a model of a boat to travel through the underworld, and also to travel once he'd been accepted by Osiris to the afterlife and back. So the Ushabtis are there to pull that boat through the underworld. Then you've got the hippopotamus and the lion. Well, the monster Anut had the head of a crocodile, or it could be the head of a hippopotamus and a lion's body. So that represents Anut the monster. Anubis sitting upon his mountain. Now what's interesting is that box shape is the hieroglyph for Anubis sitting upon his mountain. So Anubis is there to lead the deceased for the judgment of Mart's feather against your spiritual heart. Okay, so that's what that object is, Anubis sitting upon his mountain. The items in the treasury are things that Tutankhamun would need to have a fantastic afterlife. Okay, little boxes to put your clothes in, and nuts and fruit and wine and oil and dates and figs and wheat and barley and that sort of thing. Then we get into the burial chamber. Now, the burial chamber is I think upon it as like the place of rest for the spirit to be rejuvenated during the hours of daytime. So the sarcophagus originally was to keep out air, wasn't it? Do you remember I mentioned this in the Old Kingdom, the pyramid days? It was a device they used early on to preserve a body, and they thought if you had a really heavy stone lid on the stone box, it would keep out the air, and then as the body leaked fluid, the stone would suck it up. Well, by the time we come to New Kingdom, it's about status. Anyone can have a BMW and a Mercedes, but everyone wants a Rolls Royce, really, don't they? Okay, so that's status. Everyone wants a red Ferrari. That's status. So that's what a sarcophagus is. It's not actually doing anything, it's just status. Inside there, he's got 2 outer coffins, which are made out of wood and covered in gold and semi-precious stones. They were amazing craftsmen. Look at the detail. Look how long it must have taken to produce these 2 items. Amazing. They look virtually alive, as if Tutankhamun is alive and he could possibly speak to you when you gaze upon them. That's how much they take my breath away when I first saw them. And each time I see them in different settings, in the old Cairo Museum, and now they're probably in the new Cairo Museum, they take your breath away. They really do. Then you've got the inner coffin, 2 parts of solid gold, 110 kilos. Then on the mummified body, you've got the mask, which is 10 kilos of solid gold. Now, when I hear the term death mask, do you know what I want to do? I want to scream. I want to take that person out. It is not a death mask. He was not dead when they made the plaster mask to produce this mask. He was very much alive. So what was the mask used for? It's a device. It's a device to protect the body, to stop other spirits from coming inside your body. Think about it. He's not the only spirit travelling to the afterlife. Over 1,500 years, millions of Egyptian spirits are making that journey now, every night and day. So when he comes back to his tomb, first he needs to be able to identify, where's my body? It's not that one over there. Which one is it? Ah, it's the one with the mask on. And 2, he wants to make sure that when he does come back to his body, there's not somebody else in there. You know, that it's not been hijacked by somebody else. So that's what the mask was for. So you could identify the body you needed to belong to, that you needed to re-enter, and to keep other spirits out. Stay out! It's not your body. It's mine. That's what it's for. So please, please, don't call it a death mask. It does my head in when I hear archaeologists saying, oh, they were bandages. I just want to go, poof. They're not bandages, they're wrappings. They might look like bandages in our civilization, but we're thousands of years after the event. They're wrapping up the body in wrappings. Oh, it's a death mask. It's not a death mask, it's a device, a useful tool, an item. So that is the burial chamber. Let's have a look at the items in what Howard Carter described as the treasury. And you see lots of items to do with the gods, because that's where Tutankhamun wants to end up. He wants to end up visiting the gods in the afterlife every night time. And that's why I think they position these objects in these different places within the tomb. Let's just recap about these objects. And in my career as an archaeologist, people always ask me, how much gold have you found? I haven't found any gold. I don't want to find any gold. What I'd rather find is a rolled up piece of papyrus paper telling me something about a past Egyptian's life. That's what I want to find. I want to find objects that tell me something that I can connect with the ancient Egyptian people, something that I don't already know. To me, that's what I value. And even if I did find gold in Egypt, it doesn't belong to me. It's not my country. It belongs to the Egyptian people. So please, please, when you go to Egypt and somebody offers you an antiquity, refuse to buy it. It doesn't belong to that person. It belongs to the Egyptian people, the national state. So let's have a look at the gold content in the tomb of Tutankhamun. The inner coffin, the third coffin, is 110 kilos of solid gold. The mask, another 10 kilos of solid gold. The gold, which is covered on all the wooden objects, let's give a conservative estimate, another 10 kilos of solid gold. And let's say that, just for argument, another 10 kilos of special objects personalised to the king that were stolen in those 2 earlier robberies, another 10 kilos of solid gold. So in total, in Tutankhamun's tomb, all the gold used was 140 kilos. And he only ruled Egypt for 9 years. What about Ramesses II, who ruled Egypt for 67 years? What about Tutankhamun's grandfather, Amenhotep III, who ruled Egypt for over 30 years? Wow, their tombs must have been magnificent with all that funeral furniture in, all that gold, and it must have been glittering. Why was gold so important to ancient Egyptians? Well, they believed that the gods were made out of silver and their flesh was made out of gold. So the more gold you had adorning your mummified body, the more your spirit would shine in the afterlife. Wow, blows your mind, doesn't it? Now, if you have a look at this map of the West Bank, you can see all the mortuary temples lined up. And Tutankhamun's mortuary temple was very close to Medina Habu, which is the mortuary temple for Ramesses III. Unfortunately, when he died, that mortuary temple was usurped by King Ai. And when King Ai died, serves you right, his successor Horemheb, he usurped King Ai's mortuary temple. And I think what they probably did was, although they took over the whole temple, they probably had some small shrine to feed Tutankhamun's spirit. When Horemheb took over the temple, he had another shrine built for King Ai, because you wouldn't want to deprive your predecessors of their divine right to rejuvenate their spirit so they could make that nighttime journey to the afterlife and back. Now, Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon. I can't go through his great career and his patron, Lord Carnarvon, on this video. It's impossible. They need their own video because they had a tremendous amount of time together. And I want to go over the complexities of where they excavated first and their relationship, how much it cost Carnarvon. So that's in a separate video. So watch out for Carter Carnarvon. Okay, that one's coming up probably in a couple of weeks. Next thing is, please press the subscribe button. Thank you very much. I need 100 subscribers. I've got 40 now. Need another 60. So please tell your friends, come and visit this channel. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Please leave comments. Feedback's really important to me. Somebody commented to me recently that, oh, you're reading the commentary off of cards and there's no passion in what you're doing. It's not so much that, it's I do a lot of ghosting, so I work during the night sometimes. So if I seem a bit like that, it's because I've been working all night. Once I get stuck on something, I like to see it through, and I'm trying to get this project, these first lot of videos done of the ancient Egyptian civilization, so I can go back to the earlier videos and make better videos, add music, special effects, just to make it more entertaining to watch. You have to remember, I'm not a filmmaker, I'm an archaeologist, and I'm not an IT person, so I'm learning all these skills right now in the field, so to speak, and that's why hopefully as I go through this process things will get better and better and better. So please be patient. Okay, right, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.